clashed hundreds of times in their 100 years conflict, but has any stirred the emotions quite like this one? Well, good afternoon everyone, and welcome to the ultimate Old Firm experience. Paul McStay has led his man onto the field, and Richard Gough has led out the Rangers, and the Rangers victory will give them a record-equalling 9th championship with their rivals. A Celtic win will surely take it to the wire. It's the game, Charlie Nicholas, everyone wants to see.
Yes, good afternoon Jerry, and good afternoon to everyone. This game, I think, in a domestic presence is probably the biggest game I can ever recall. With marvellous memories of European nights here at Celtic Park. Today, in a domestic level, I've not often said that I miss a game now that I've stopped playing, but this is definitely one I would love to have played in.
Fantastic atmosphere, the place jam-packed, and let's have a look at the teams once again. Celtic first of all, and they show just the one change from the side which flopped at Kilmarnock, with the Canio returning and Andreas Thom dropping to the bench. And now Rangers. Well, 4 changes have been made following defeat by Dundee United at Albertz, with Dibble, Gough, Hateley and Durrant replacing Goram, Petric, Jury and Miller. And there's Paolo Di Canio. Much Celtic hope resting on his shoulders this afternoon. The Celtic huddle takes place. And Enrico Annoni, who's arrived from AS Roma, makes his 4th appearance this afternoon. And a big day for Richard Gough, his last Old Firm match. He wants to end it with a victory. And the return of Mark Hateley, who could have guessed this just a week ago. The referee this afternoon is Hugh Dallas from Motherwell, who will be assisted by John Fleming of Glasgow, John McElhinney of Glasgow. The 4th official is Willie Young from Claxton. It's a rather windy day here in the east end of Glasgow. Let's hope it doesn't spoil the play, which is now underway. So right away, Rangers attempting to test the Celtic defence. Well, it's the west end of Celtic Park that still lies fairly open during this rebuilding process. The wind is coming from that direction. It will make it a bit difficult, I suspect, for the goalkeepers.
I think it was mainly as a swirling wind, Jerry, which we'll find it doesn't really benefit anyone in particular. It's always difficult to get control of the ball, but you know, there's many big occasions to play in. I think this is an occasion for maybe even some homegrown talent, because there's so much talk about the European guys, but there's Andy Dibble there. A massive game for him, and I expect his first 20 minutes Celtic to try and go for the throat of Rangers.
There's a touch for Di Canio. It's O'Donnell. Test of nerve for Andy Dibble. Not the greatest clearance, but he gets away with it. It reached Alec Cleland. The Rangers fans hugely outnumbered this afternoon, but they're giving the team plenty of backing in these early stages. Well, Rangers have lost just 1 of the last 9 league visits here, and they haven't conceded a goal in the last 3. That's league games, so a tremendous record here. Celtic's last Premier Division win over Rangers was almost 2 years ago, in May 1995, 3-0 at Hampden Park. The championship was over that day. This afternoon it's up for grabs. This is Annoni. Across comes Björklund. Given away by Ian Durrant, a seasoned campaigner. Rangers have it back though through Ferguson. It's Durrant again. Well, Ian Durrant and Mark Hateley combined so well a few years back, particularly in one Scottish Cup final, and perhaps Walter Smith has been looking back to that occasion as he reinstates Durrant and brings Hateley back. Meanwhile, it's Cleland pushing forward here, and the assistant referee on the far side has raised his flag. The free kick has been awarded.
Good positive run from Cleland. A little bit of tugging from both of them, but I think you're spot on with Durrant. I think he's a big-time player, and I think this game is the reason why probably Walter Smith brought him back. He knows he can play big-time at this level, and especially his combination with Hateley.
Durrant to take it. Hateley is lurking just on the edge of the area. Richard Gough is up there as well. An early test for the goalkeeper, perhaps. The ball drifts away. The Rangers are showing a lot of determination here. They're well wound up for the occasion. So too is Paul McStay. Through now for Canio. Cadete starts a run through the middle. Still it's Canio. The Rangers are getting players back in numbers here. It's Cadete with Björklund. Lovely skills by Cadete in a very tight situation. It's just beyond Peter Grant. That was brilliant play by George Cadete. Good run forward by Canio initially. Still Celtic have it. It's Jackie McNamara. Away by Björklund. O'Donnell battles hard. Albertz is there. So too is Ferguson. Now it's Craig Moore. Laid off by Laudrup. Albertz. Looking for Hateley. And the challenge leaves Mackay in trouble. Well, the first aerial ball, and Hateley wins it, and he gets a free kick after the challenge from Annoni. But psychologically, Hateley has let it be known he's there, and Mackay knew all about it.
Oh, it's a ploy we've seen so many times in the past, and it was an interesting confrontation for the first time there. And Hateley's come out and taught him that first one.
Again, Charlie, you and I have talked so many occasions about the experience you guys have had in Old Firm games, and experience. And this particular one is vital.
Vital. He will work that back four on his own. Sorry, it'll mainly be a three for Celtic. Hateley will work the back three in his own. He might run out of steam eventually because of his lack of games, but he's got the knowledge to pick places when he wants to run in his aerial battles.
So Albertz sweeps it in, the goalkeeper commits himself. It's a comfortable catch for Stuart Kerr. He's had a good season with 12 shutouts. In fact, Tuesday's defeat at Kilmarnock ended a run of 4 consecutive shutouts for him. A touch from Albertz, now it's Laudrup. Trying to charge his way through. He got away from McStay first of all. Mackay did just enough there. Now it breaks for Tosh McKinlay. Away by McLaren. Ferguson. Good ball through from Laudrup. He's got Hateley with him. Cleland's away in a run as Moore takes possession. A stretch of a foot there, getting it away. Only as far as Laudrup. Free kick is awarded. Well, the Celtic players are unhappy. Jackie McNamara particularly. Laudrup was showing a lot of determination, and certainly that was a free kick. So another chance here for Rangers to test the goalkeeper. George Albertz, who scored a spectacular goal against Celtic at the turn of the year from just about this range, is the man who's going to take it. Can he do it again? Well, great power, but the wall does its job, and it's Canio. Oh, Canio does well against the odds. Now it's McStay. O'Donnell started a run. Cadet's on the far side. That's a free kick, and it's going to be a booking for Craig Moore. Well, Paolo Canio did so well earlier on there, forcing the ball out of his own defence. Paul McStay was running through and clearly tripped there. And Hugh Dallas knows he's got to take some early action. And Craig Moore goes into the book. It's a promising break that for Celtic. O'Donnell was ahead of McStay. Cadete had made space on the left-hand side and was on a run. Annoni sends it in. That's a powerful header right across the face of goal. Stubbs and Mackay up there. And Andy Dibble watched that one carefully.
It's nicely flighted in. It's very rarely you would see somebody scoring from there, but with this wind today, the swirling wind, Stubbs got a good header on it. and you just never know, you could catch somebody out. I think Dibble was always comfortable, to be fair.
Well, Mackay and Stubbs coming in at the far post, and that will certainly be a tactic that Celtic will use this afternoon at the set pieces. Rangers 2 with a real aerial threat. There's Hateley digging in. And the free kick was awarded against McStay. And the referee keeping right on top of things here.
It's been an interesting start, Jerry. Sitting here looking at just over 8 minutes gone, and Celtic really haven't dominated the way I might have thought the first 20 would normally go. Rangers are playing pretty confident at this moment in time.
Showing a lot of determination. There have been early goals in the last 3 Old Firm encounters, and the team that has taken the lead has gone on to win. Laudrup, who hit the ball there, he scored in just 7 minutes. One of the earlier matches, Albertz in 9, and Mackay in the cup tie for Celtic in 10 minutes. But, both sides fully committed. Free kick goes Celtic's way.
Good shielding there from Cadete, very strong upper body. Gough just putting too many hands on him.
So Paul McStay with this free kick. The goalkeeper comes for it, takes it well. And it's a decent throw out, but Celtic were alert. Laudrup was almost away there. Here's to Canio. Cleland gets a foot in. Now it's McStay. Again, the Canio twisting and turning. He's got the free kick. Conceded by Ferguson. So an opportunity here for Celtic. Ferguson leaving his foot in. Forward. Well, that one certainly wasn't practiced in the training ground. A lapse of concentration there between the Canio and Grant, and Celtic had paid a penalty. 3 Rangers players getting forward here. It's through for Durrant. Well, he snatched at that one. He had Cleland with him as well. What a chance that was for Rangers. It all started from a Celtic free kick at the other end. Slack play between the Canio and Grant let Laudrup away. He had Durrant just ahead of him. Cleland wide right. And Durrant coming in here, hit it early.
Well, I've got to give credit to McNamara. He delayed it and delayed it, and eventually he did enough to get back and put Durrant off. But really, Celtic were badly exposed from midfield and defence there.
Rangers are looking the likelier side in these early stages. You could certainly detect the determination about them pre-match as they were warming up on the pitch.
It's enabled Ferguson to sit a little bit deeper and maybe secure his back three. But what they're getting is they're getting numbers and they're harassing Celtic's midfield a lot more than they did just last week.
Hesitancy there between Albertz and Björklund, almost like Peter Granton. This is Moore. Cleland. Slight one by him. Returned by Mackay. And it drops in behind McLaren, but Andy Dibble took control of the situation. 31 years of age, great experience. Won 3 full caps with Wales. 3 under-21 caps as well. And has played for a host of clubs down south. I just wonder if he's ever been in an atmosphere quite like this.
Probably not. I'd be surprised ever if he's witnessed anything like this. Again, it's Hateley using all his knowledge, his know-how. As soon as you lift that arm, you'll get a free kick, and that's what Stubbs has done.
So once again, Albertz is preparing to take the free kick. It's a long way out, this one. The Celtic wall did its job last time. Once again, the line-up to protect the goalkeeper. Once again, the wall does its job. George Albertz has a terrific scoring record from midfield this season. He started the season, in fact, at full-back in emergency. Since then, he's managed to score 12 goals. Some fierce tackling going on there. And Peter Grant is now in trouble with the referee for that challenge on Ian Durrant. And the referee will call the player back over, but you see the ferocity of the challenge there. And the referee is making his point to the Celtic player.
I don't think Peter is always a guy who kind of accepts his bookings gracefully, but I think he just cleverly took him from the back, but Durrant read the situation.
So almost 14 minutes gone here at Celtic Park. Celtic 0, Rangers 0. And it's another free kick to Rangers. They're certainly causing the Celtic defence a lot of problems once again. It's Hateley who was pushed there. Mackay, the culprit. Another opportunity for Rangers. They've definitely taken the game by the scruff of the neck in these early stages. Carried it to Celtic. Kerr screaming instructions at his defenders. Once again, Albertz is there. Ian Ferguson is in close proximity. It's Albertz again. Well, that's 3 free kicks he's had. They've all come off the defensive wall. McStay plays it through now. In comes Gough. Durrant. Same towards Hateley. Mackay was struggling there a bit. And it's cleared by McNamara.
He's just putting that down to Celtic's defenders' mindset. Like, they don't quite know whether to go and try and force the issue and get over the top of him, or just let him flick it on, and he's causing mayhem at the back at the moment.
But Rangers have had a good spell. They'll really want to take something from it. As we've seen so often in these Old Firm games, you can have the upper hand and suddenly something happens at the other end. Is off to Canio, to McStay. A bit of slackness again, gives Rangers possession. Hateley's peeled away on the left-hand side. Cleland has made a run on the right, still it's Laudrup. Hateley is showing a lot of good movement off the ball here. Back to Laudrup, Annoni gets a foot in. That was superb play though by Mark Hateley. His movement on the edge of the area gave the Celtic defence a lot of problems again. And he squeezed the ball back through to Laudrup. And it was the outstretched foot of Annoni who got it away. Some words of encouragement and advice from Billy Stark. Tommy Burns, as we saw earlier, sitting up in the stand, serving a ban there, and that was because he was sent off by this afternoon's referee, Hugh Dallas, in the previous Old Firm encounter. Here comes Celtic now. It's Canio trying to force it through. McLaren gets a toe to it. Only as far as McStay. The offside flag goes up. Well, Canio had stepped forward, and so too had Cadete, and the referee will have a word with him. So the referee has had a word with George Cadete, who complained about the decision. Two skippers going for that one. It's McStay who won it. Here's Canio. Donald's in the middle, but Canio is forced wide by a posse of Rangers players. He finds Tosh McKinlay, the early ball from him, it's away by Gough. Get in there just ahead of Cadete. The ball forward by Mackay. Much better from Annoni. Who gets the touch to Durrant. Tries to pick out Hateley. Mackay's there though. Touch on to McStay. Down from Cadete. Good ball from Peter Grant. This is Canio. Celtic are getting players forward here. Phil O'Donnell's arriving as well. Cadet's in the middle. Tosh McKinlay's in support. McKinlay wants it, but Canio is not prepared to part with possession. Comes off the head of McNamara. Durrant's back there defending. Free kick has been awarded. So now an opportunity for Celtic. Ian Durrant going in there on McNamara. Almost 19 minutes gone. Rangers have enjoyed the lion's share of pressure, but now Celtic have a chance here. Mackay's up there, so too is Stubbs, but it's a poor free kick from Canio. The Celtic set pieces while letting them down. The Rangers tending to break forward from them, but on that occasion, Annoni got in there.
I think we can say that about both teams so far. Albertz' free kicks have been disappointing. Good challenge from Annoni, sizing up the situation, but Rangers have been disappointed at theirs too. You just wonder, it's so often in the past Celtic dominated the early proceedings, and then Rangers usually go and get a result.
McNamara is nudged there. McLaren watches that one carefully. Cadete challenges. Once again, Durrant's deep. Here's McNamara. Easily dispossessed there. Rangers got a cluster of players around him. Now it's Laudrup trying to open up the Celtic defence. Good ball through now for Albertz. Away to the far side looking for Hateley. Right across goal by him and onto the top of the net. And again, good movement by Mark Hateley. Perhaps if there'd been just enough support coming through from there, he could have knocked that one down. Laudrup fed it through. Good ball to Albertz. Annoni had to back off there. And Hateley come in on the far side.
That was a good break, good weighted cross. Maybe the wind has just caught a bit. You just see, he can't get the angle to knock it back because Craig Moore was just coming out his shot. But it was a good move from Rangers, playing very cleverly. And Laudrup picking up clever space now.
Snap ball by Annoni. It's picked up by Cleland. Cleland shows good pace and determination. Craig Moore does likewise. The ball is just pushed too far ahead of him though. And Rangers have to settle for the throw-in. Well, this is a different Rangers from the team that came here in the Scottish Cup. There's the header going in, and again, you've got to look at the Celtic defence there. And Durrant has taken a bit of a knock, but just look how he gets in. It's comfortably dealt with by Richard Gough. Goes against Hateley, involved with Annoni. fires a long one forward. So away by McLaren. This is Ian Ferguson. Looking for Hateley. Well, Stubbs is on the ground. Alan Stubbs was hurt in that exchange with Hateley. And the referee will halt the play now and allow some treatment. And once again, Mark Hateley making his presence felt. His last game for Rangers was against Stirling Albion in the League Cup, and he scored in that match. Certainly done well this afternoon. So an anxious moment here for Celtic.
It's mainly just
an upward fall for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very sore one, but I don't think there was any real malice in the challenge from Hateley. It was just more of a clumsy fall. This obviously gave Stubbs a problem. But you know, there's two guys here talking. Laudrup in particular, I think, has maybe got the biggest boost of all in this Rangers team. He probably feels now he can get a bit more space, and Hateley does take a considerable amount of weight off this guy's shoulders, and he can just go on and create his openings, and Hateley can do a lot of the work for him. And even at 35, I don't think it looks a problem so far for Hateley.
Yeah, Laudrup did look a bit dispirited the other evening when Pedersen once again marked him extremely well, and you're right, Charlie, he wasn't getting the support, but this afternoon he's relishing this situation. Well, Alan Stubbs doesn't look too happy, and the referee is saying, well, if he wants any further treatment, he's going to have to leave the field. The ball is returned by Ian Durrant. Touch from Cadete. Here's McStay. Canio quickly closed down by McLaren. No free kick, indicates the referee. Celtic players look for something. Rangers get on with it. In comes Durrant. Well, that's given away by Craig Moore. Here's Canio. Moore tries to get back. There's certainly plenty of Rangers players funneling back. And the danger is eventually cleared, but a slack moment there almost let Canio in. Cadete with him, but trying to go it alone. There's Cadete trying to challenge. Now it's Albertz for Rangers. Ferguson. Durrant. Cleland's away wide right. Cleland plays it through. It's a good ball. It finds Craig Moore. And it's away behind by Annoni. Well, Hateley was lucky in the middle. He decided to make a run to the near side, and the ball was hit right across. But Rangers have the corner kick conceded by Enrico Annoni. Once again, Richard Gough pushes forward. That was a good ball through from Cleland to Craig Moore. Movement from Gough and Hateley. Right through for the throw-in to Celtic.
They certainly gave them problems. Rangers giving Celtic problems down the Rangers' right-hand side. That's done clever. But Craig Moore's been prepared to sacrifice with running, and he's got in behind Tosh McKinlay. He had to go and probably block Cleland. And it's been difficult for Celtic to pick Craig Moore up.
Free kick to Rangers, just on the edge of the area. And the referee is calling over Mackay. It's another real opportunity here for Rangers, right on the edge of the area. They've had a lot of free kicks in this first half. Just over 27 minutes gone. They've failed to cash in. For something from this one. Durrant sweeps it in, and Hateley just failed to respond. This is Ferguson. Good challenge there by Jackie McNamara. Through now for Cadete. And an equally good challenge, fighting challenge there by Björklund. Well, if there's a winner at the end of this match, they will really deserve the points because the commitment is total. Well, this is the first time in 14 years that Rangers have gone into an Old Firm match on the back of 2 defeats. The last time was way back in 1983 when they lost 2-1 to Celtic at Ibrox. Tommy Burns getting one of the goals, so it shows you how long ago that happened. This is McNamara now trying to force a play forward. Well, Ian Durrant is doing plenty of defending here. So it's McNamara and it's George Albertz who slides in to concede the corner kick. Certainly persistence from Jackie McNamara. First of all, he was challenged by Ian Durrant, then George Albertz. Andy Dibble tries to steady himself in a crowded area, but the referee wants us taken again. A lot of pushing and jostling going on. And Hugh Dallas just calming things down. He's already yellow carded 2 players this afternoon, Grant of Celtic and Moore of Rangers. Once again he shows some firmness. So Tosh McKinlay has crossed over to hit this one. Well headed away by Ferguson. Almost half an hour gone, still no scoring here at Celtic Park. Plenty of action. And here's Paul McStay, the Celtic skipper, through now for the Canio. Cadete's just ahead of him. Still it's Cadete. The goalkeeper does well, and Alan McLaren gets it away, but McLaren was really caught there. Alan McLaren was caught out by George Cadete as the Canio played this one through.
It's a famous diagonal run of Cadete, but full credit to the keeper Dibble. He was out very sharp.
Canio swings it in. And the free kick is awarded to Rangers. Again, a lot of pushing going on. Peter Grant has taken a knock, but it was good play by Cadete. Just getting away from McLaren. Ball through from the Canio. The goalkeeper does his job, and then McLaren managed to get it away.
It's really the first time that Cadete and the Canio have linked and gave them a major problem. They have lacked sufficient numbers from midfield at the moment, Celtic, to support the Canio and Cadete in particular. O'Donnell's trying on every occasion to get there, but they've got to time it right until Cadete has got under control, and from that Celtic can progress, because at the moment they have just no fluency in the play.
Seems to have recovered from the head knock he took a few moments ago. He challenges again. It's away by Björklund. Headed forward by Stubbs. Away by Gough. Phil O'Donnell. Haven't really seen much of him so far. One of those good runs he can make. Goes to Canio. Now it's O'Donnell. By Annoni. A little drift out, I'm sure. Only Peter Grant, I think, would have chased it into that corner.
It certainly wouldn't have been me. For love nor money, I wouldn't have went near that. But the determination was shown again from Granty. It was a good ball actually played from Annoni, but he'd made his run early and checked out Peter Grant, so he just couldn't get back into it.
Dibble here has made 5 appearances for Aberdeen back in 1990. Knocked him out for a spell, and this afternoon he's certainly doing that for Rangers. Björklund. Celtic's throw. Touch from Canio. McNamara. Again, Durrant was keeping a close eye on him. Good challenge. He's getting through a power of work this afternoon, Ian Durrant. To think how long ago that horrendous injury happened to him, and still he defies the odds to play at the top level. Here's Peter Grant. Well, he does well. McNamara sends it in. It's away by Craig Moore. A touch from Hateley. And Hateley again. Throw to Celtic. Peter Grant off does well against Cadete. This is Moore. He's playing it into space, looking for Laudrup. Mackay and Stubbs seem to have settled a bit now after some hair-raising moments in the earlier stages.
The game's just settled down a little bit. It's just having a little breather, I think, before they have a final blast with the half-time whistle. But it's a calm 5 minutes. Celtic maybe just starting to believe that they have steadied the ship a little bit. Rangers have been dominant in this first half. I think Stuart Kerr has maybe only had one save to make, so they'll not be that upset at this stage that Rangers have probably had more possession.
So Grant battling with Hateley. It's Celtic's free kick. And the referee wants a word with Hateley. Again, two committed players. And Hateley actually committing the foul. He gets a word of warning from the referee. 007's here this afternoon, supporting Rangers by the look of things. Goalkeeper remain calm. Dibble shows plenty of confidence. Touch on by Hateley. This is Stubbs. Good ball easily taken down by Björklund. Through for Hateley. Albertz looking for a Durrant, but stays there though. Grant, McNamara. Albertz does well against Cadete, and almost a good ball through to Laudrup. It was well cut out there by Mackay. Cleland stands in no ceremony. There's Canio. McKinlay. Canio again, driving it through. And it's behind for the goal kick.
Just little flashes, he wants to do something. It was a horrendous ball for Cadete to contact with. There's just no way he could have done anything with it. I think it was mainly a shot from Canio. Hasn't been so influential as normal today. Don't know if that's maybe down to his injury picked up last week. But signs are that he's just still got something in the bag to give Celtic.
Certainly Richard Gough, just the last few games, seems to be getting through this one without any great problem so far. And it's a free kick against Cadete. Again, it's very difficult down there for the referee. But, he decides it's Rangers free kick, and Andy Dibble is coming all the way out of his goal to take this one. Paul McStay is lying deep. This is McNamara. Cross now for Grant. Toss McKinlay is wide left. O'Donnell has started a run. This is O'Donnell. McLaren challenge as well. They get some help from Cleland. Through by Mackay. Easily cut out by Moore. And comes to Canio again. Break through for Cadete. It's to Canio. Cadete peels off. But Richard Gough was there, and so too was Craig Moore. Celtic really looking to De Canio and Cadete. Get some kind of combination going here to open up this defence, but the Rangers skipper was there. Cleared by Cleland. That's a free kick Celtic's way. It's De Canio. O'Donnell. Good touch by him. De Canio again. Well, Ian Durrant will be yellow carded. You just wonder what this might do to De Canio, who'd been struggling with injury. He's still in the deck as Hugh Dallas calls over the Rangers player. A promising moment there for Celtic. It comes to an end, and the yellow card is shown to the Rangers midfielder. Inside the final 5 minutes of this first half here at Celtic Park. It's Celtic 0, Rangers 0, but a free kick to Celtic as Tommy Burns looks on. A free kick just outside the area. Well, certainly Celtic fans getting right behind the team now, and they weathered some early pressure. They have a chance here. What an intense battle this has been. It's De Canio! And the ball goes behind for the goal kick. What a magnificent effort by Paolo De Canio. The ball flicked up in the air for him. A mighty effort off the top of the bar.
Well, if you believed yourself, this is what can happen. Absolute quality from De Canio. In the last 5 minutes, Celtic have needed someone to inspire them, and if this doesn't, nothing will. Tremendous ability from a quality player.
That certainly ignites the Celtic fans. He's become a major favourite here after a slow start. And the good thing is that De Canio now is concentrating more on the game. He was getting far too involved with referees and officials in his earlier weeks here. Got himself sent off, and now he's concentrating more in the game, and that is paying off for Celtic, who are certainly coming more and more into this match after a rather dodgy start. So just under 3 minutes of the first half left. It's McStay, well challenged by Ferguson. Annoni comes in there, just ahead of Laudrup. There's a touch through from Cleland. But McLaren and Durrant get into a bit of a tangle and surrender possession. Celtic now hesitate. It's a real pressure cooker down there, though.
It's a fear of making a mistake in vital areas.
Well, the offside flag is up. Canio will be spoken to. maybe I spoke just a bit too soon there. He shows his frustration. It was a long ball, was played through. The offside flag went up. He reacted, and the referee ran over.
I think the real frustration shown there was, I think, actually timed his run well, and I think he's caught the linesman out. But still, he overreacts.
Again, it's that argument, Charlie, a ball being played that kind of distance. How can the linesman keep an eye on that? And also the player who's breaking, it's very, very difficult. Comes off the head of Cadete, it's picked up by Durrant. And again, is back, helping out. And a miscue this time by Andy Dibble. He hasn't looked all that comfortable when the ball has been passed back to him, but he did make one very good close range save. Go through by Stubbs. So the referee has halted the play, and it's Rangers' ball.
Celtic would like to try and get their fullbacks more advanced. McNamara and McKinlay, their big strength is going forward. They really haven't hit the byline probably as much as Celtic would like.
There's Ian Durrant coming through, and the goalkeeper's off his line. Rangers sensationally take the lead. What a mess the Celtic defence got into there. Just seconds of this first half left, and Stuart Kerr got into all kinds of difficulty here. It was Albertz who swept the ball through. It was Hateley with Annoni. He got the merest touch on it, and then Stubbs headed it into the path of Durrant. The goalkeeper had already left his line. Mackay had the chance to clear.
Well, Celtic gave him every chance coming to half-time. You don't take the gamble and try and knock it back to your goalkeeper there. He's in no man's land. Mackay's a bit slow to react. Laudrup puts him under pressure, and it's a terrible goal for Celtic to lose.
So we're now into stoppage time in this first half. And Celtic have the free kick. But really, it was blunderland there from Celtic. A mistake by Stubbs initially. The goalkeeper had committed himself. Durrant got it over. Mackay tried to get it away. Only got a touch on it. It was over the line at that point. So the ball, I suppose, coming off Mackay in the final analysis. The man who gave Celtic the lead in the Scottish Cup tie. But it was awful defending by Celtic. The first mistake coming from Stubbs. The goalkeeper, Stuart Kerr, had already left his line, and Ian Durrant got the touch on it. Play held up for some treatment. So Craig Moore. Well, Celtic were enjoying the best spell of the match, but caught out by the long ball through from Albertz. Celtic will hope to take this opportunity. Good blocking challenge by Richard Gough. Gone flying out there against Stubbs. And it's Ian Durrant again back doing some defending as the half-time whistle sounds. Rangers get the vital breakthrough just a minute from half-time. Charlie.
Well, Rangers were playing so well, I thought, for 25-30 minutes. Celtic, in mainstream through to Canio, were coming back into the game with the quality effort off the bar. But if Celtic can continually defend that against Rangers, they will go another 8 or 9 games without getting a result, because it was bad defending, and there is no excuse for it.
A half-time score here at Celtic Park. is Celtic 0, Rangers 1.
Yeah, real drama there. Celtic 0, Rangers 1 after 45 minutes of frantic action. And we'll hear the thoughts of Paul Elliott and Graham Roberts in just a couple of minutes from now. Welcome back, half-time here at Parkhead, where it's Celtic 0, Rangers 1. And this is the story of the first 45 minutes. Have a look at this. Half-time statistics. Well, Rangers have 1 goal, Celtic haven't scored, as we know. Shots on target, Rangers have had 3, Celtic 2. Shots off it, 2 each there. Corners, there only have been 3, 2 to Celtic and 1 to Rangers. Well, Paul, briefly, what do you make of it so far?
Well, I think, Jim, for the first 30 minutes, territorially, Rangers had the greater advantage. They broke with pace, and really, I think Hateley was a constant threat. The 2 centre-backs, I thought, struggled. And I think thereafter, once Celtic settled, Canio started to have a bigger influence on the game. Obviously, they finished the stronger side, but obviously, Rangers scoring very much against a run of play.
I think you go with that, Graham, yeah?
Yeah, I do, Jim. I think Rangers come here to do a job. They've got everybody behind the ball, and Rangers' game at the moment is to hit them on the break, and they've got the pace in Laudrup. Hateley's causing Stubbs in Mackay all sorts of trouble, and they just cannot handle him. They're not used to him. Such a big lad playing against them this season, and he's caused them mayhem there. And the goal came from that situation.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the goal. Let's see the goal now, Graham. This is what is keeping Rangers ahead of Celtic right now. Now, what do you think of that, Paul?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, prior to that, I think it was a woeful error actually by Stubbs. I think the last further field there, you've got to get the height and distance away. I mean, the ball's coming. I think you see Big Mark. He actually pulls off onto the fullback, Annoni.
Yeah.
There at that point, that's where he's created the problem. His presence there, unchallenged, and obviously there's Stubbs. Mistimed the header, in my opinion, and really Durrant has read the situation, lifted it over the advancing Kerr, and really Laudrup, brave on the far post, comes in and Kerr bundles it into the net. But really,
it's a strange one, isn't it?
Yes.
But actually, I thought, if you have a look here, I thought Durrant was going to score, and but Laudrup definitely touches it.
Yeah, he got the final touch, hasn't he?
Well, that's 1-0 to Rangers at half-time, and that was the goal. Ian Durrant, you said you were pleased at the top of the show, Graham, that Durrant was in. He had a real chance early on, didn't he?
Well, I thought he was going to put us 1-0 up. I thought he was going to put us 1-0 up, Jim. It was a free kick. I think it was Celtic's free kick, and Rangers' game is about breaking off, from other people's mistakes. And you see here, it's a great ball. Laudrup's pace takes him away, and now it's sort of 3 against 1. But to be fair to him, Tosh McKinlay does very well there. Held him up, and I thought probably Laudrup should have just killed him off a bit more, and Durrant would have been right in on goal. But Rangers look strong going forward. On the break they look tremendous today.
And Hateley in, as I said at the top, he comes up from London on Friday and he plays against Celtic today. He had a looping header and went close with it, didn't he, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, this is another element where he pulls off here to the far post. I think central defenders get caught balls and get caught towards a goal. Tight angle, but it's that kind of ball where Hateley really just sits up in the air diagonally and he comes in there. I mean, he's like 5 yards off, poor marking by the Celtic defender. And really, it's a good effort at goal. It
was a good effort. And of course, Celtic have had their chances too, and we'll be looking at those in just a minute. But now details of how you can vote for the Bells.
Thanks, Jim. Welcome back, everyone, to Celtic Park. Both teams back out on the field, and a look around shows no changes in either side. And we checked with Rangers at half-time. Ian Durrant is claiming the goal. Certainly Laudrup was in there, and Mackay as the ball crossed the line, but it's been credited to Ian Durrant. So Celtic with an uphill battle in this second half. Rangers were certainly the better side over the 45 minutes. Cruel luck in Celtic perhaps when Canio hit that marvellous free kick off the crossbar, but poor defending by Celtic just on the interval. Gives them a lot to do in this second half to keep any championship hopes to have alive. So we're underway, and Celtic unbeaten here in the last 10 matches since losing 1-0 to Rangers in November. Celtic have won 9 of those and drawn the other, so we've got a formidable home record, but being put to the test this afternoon. Certainly disappointing, I thought, midfield in the first half, and the service not being delivered through to Canio and Cadete. And at the back, Mackay and Alan Stubbs, they started the match rather nervously and ended the first half that way after they appeared to have settled. And once again, Hateley putting himself about, and he played a significant part in that first half. McKinlay. Celtic will certainly be looking more from Phil O'Donnell in this second half. Canio, down he goes. Free kick to Celtic.
Yeah, I think you mentioned Phil O'Donnell, Jerry, and they do need more from him, but they've got to get the two wing backs, McKinlay, McNamara, involved more in the play in an attacking role.
Well, there's one of them. Good touch there. Through for Peter Grant, but it's behind for the goal kick. It's played through by Jackie McNamara. Ball breaks down for Peter Grant. Rangers suffered their first domestic defeat of the season at Albertz on Wednesday night. But if they leave here today with full points, they know they have more or less wrapped up this championship. There will have to be a marked improvement in Celtic's performance in the second half. They have to take anything out of the match. There's Annoni. McNamara taking on Albertz. Again, you see Rangers players closing in quickly. Durrant and Ferguson, three players clustered around Jackie McNamara there. Rangers definitely look more up for this match than Celtic as things stand.
Well, there's a desire and there's also a knowledge. I mean, Albertz is not the most competent full-back tackling-wise, as we know, so McNamara is vital to Celtic. But both Durrant and Ferguson willing to go and help him at every opportunity.
There's McNamara again. Ferguson makes a challenge. He was already spoken to in the first half. He'll have to be careful. He's in late with that one. Free kick to Celtic. He's away by Moore.
Very alert, Dibble coming off his line. I mean, we know Andy Gorham is an extraordinary goalkeeper, but this guy seems to come off his line a lot more than Andy Gorham does.
6'2", slightly bigger, and he certainly enjoyed the experience of playing in this so far this afternoon. As I mentioned, Dibble played for a number of clubs, including West Brom and Bolton, and signed from Manchester City. Who would have thought that Rangers would be drafting in Andy Dibble from Manchester City and Mark Hateley from QPR for a game such as this? It's a sign of changing times with so many foreign players involved. That no fewer than five have scored in recent Old Firm encounters. And there's Laudrup laying it off to Moore. From Cleland to Durrant. Steps McStay to Canio. Once again, you can see Rangers players reacting very quickly. There were three players around the Canio the minute they got possession. The ball had hardly left Paul McStay's foot towards the Italian, and he was quickly closed down. Free kick is awarded. McLaren was the culprit. Certainly won Celtic a fair number of free kicks this afternoon, Paolo Di Canio. But once again they failed to cash in and Rangers are pushing forward. Albertz trying to pick out Laudrup. Oh, it's a mistake now by Annoni. Defensively, Celtic are not having a good afternoon. They could be punished again. The goalkeeper's committed himself. Laudrup still has it. Well, once again, Kerr comes springing from his line just as he did when the goal was lost a minute from half-time, and the goalkeeper has been hurt. A mistake by Annoni in the first place, let Laudrup through, and certainly Stuart Kerr has taken a knock. And Celtic have elected to have three outfield players on the bench this afternoon. Rangers have got Michael Ray, the young goalkeeper, on the bench. But, the goalkeeper flying out, went down and did just enough. Now it's Celtic at the other end, the early ball from Cadete. Here's O'Donnell, but Rangers again have got superior numbers back. the goalkeeper takes it well despite the attentions of George Cadete. But once again, Rangers got plenty of cover back here. And really, Cadete, you see him very much the lone Celt.
Yeah, very much the lone Celt. You see Canio at the edge of the box. But that is a worrying sight for Celtic. They normally flood that box with numbers. O'Donnell, who you would prefer to see in the box, has got to sacrifice himself in a wing position. That's good enough. Nice early ball. But only George could get in there, can do any damage. Dibble does well.
Well, again, Rangers are getting to the ball first. And well, the offside flag, it goes up. Still awaiting this afternoon's official attendance, but it will take the crowds between these sides this season to 250,000. Remarkable pulling power. This is Annoni. Free kick is awarded to Celtic. McStay, fouled there by Durrant.
These are the problems Celtic now face. It's all possession. There will be allowed possession all round about these areas. It's about the final pass that's going to make a difference to Celtic.
Here's to Canio. Rangers are in the driving seat. They can sit in that bit tighter. As Charlie says, let Celtic have all the possession they want in this area of the field, and then they'll hit them on the break. That's what they're doing right now. Here's Ian Durrant. Hateley's ahead of him. Laudrup started the run down the left-hand side. Still it's Durrant. Annoni it was who got the touch onto the goalkeeper there, to Kerr. It's Celtic's ball. The game is set up now for the classic counter-attacks of Laudrup. He was off on a blistering run there, and they just couldn't get the ball through to him. And that's what really could finish Celtic off this afternoon, unless they can do something quickly. But the offside flag is up against the Canio. Well, he started the game calmly. Now he's got himself booked, and the referee is on a final warning to him here. Canio has had this experience before. Last time he kept talking and he got a red card. Now Cadete is getting involved.
Rangers have got a problem being Durrant. Took that knock after the marvellous run he had with Peter Grant's challenge. It looks as if he's toiling a bit now. He's had a marvellous game, Ian Durrant, really come in, big surprise today, but he's proved time and time again to me, Jerry, he's a big time player, and he's done so again today. Looks as if he's still enjoying it.
Canio to Canio, we praised him in the first half, but he's now picked up his 8th yellow card of the season to go with a red one that he got. And again, defensively, Celtic found wanting. Has not been a comfortable afternoon for the two centre-backs, Stubbs and Mackay. Annoni had slipped up on a few occasions. And as Charlie mentioned earlier, neither Tosh McKinlay nor Jackie McNamara have been getting forward as much as they might. It's away by McLaren. The Rangers are getting ready to make a change. Charlie Miller is getting ready there. McCoy slips on. Laudrup starting to play a bit now. So a good challenge was in on him. Good running by Cleland. Lovely touch to him. by Laudrup. The Celtic fans, who are in the majority this afternoon, have gone quiet, and it's the small band of Rangers fans, there's 7,500 of them here this afternoon, who are enjoying the afternoon. It's Rangers ball. And Rangers corner.
The Rangers are thriving in this situation now. They can just take their time, play their passes, try and keep control of the game. Celtic have got to try and hound Rangers now and up the pace.
Just overcooks that one. You know, Charlie, Celtic have so many chances this season. They've been allowed back into this championship on at least 3 occasions by Rangers, and certainly at the moment it doesn't look as though they're going to take chance number 3.
No, well, I spoke on Friday to both the captains and they were both up for it. But you know, I've said to Richard Gough time and time again, when it's always came to a crunch result and I've had to dig it out, Rangers tend to be strong. And so far at the moment it's looking that way again.
Rangers were looking for a free kick there. The referee shook his head and play goes on. Laudrup was in the end of the challenge. Well, that's rather foolish by Ian Ferguson. They'd won the ball and he drives it right into the crowd. There's really no need for this. Canio. Very tight situation. Free kick against Richard Gough, and he'll be booked now. Good skill by Canio in a very tight situation. It's a lot of pulling by Gough, and the yellow card is shown. It's 5 bookings this afternoon. Durrant and Canio of Celtic, Durrant and Gough of Rangers. Free kick by Celtic. Toss McKinlay, and Hateley's back there. Cleland's tucked in behind him. And a throw in. Again, a cluster of Rangers players moving in on Phil O'Donnell. Celtic are finding it extremely difficult to find any kind of opening here. Ferguson was in again. Referee just calming things down, having a word with Paul McStay. With a high upward ball coming in, it's beyond the ball, it falls to Albertz. Just kept in play by Phil O'Donnell. There's Canio. Celtic needs some inspiration, and again Rangers are making it very difficult for them. That ball is out of play. Goal kick, and again the Italian is getting involved. He really is on a tightrope here. It looks as though he's going to fall off unless he gets a hold of things. Meanwhile, Walter Smith has gone down trackside, and Richard Gough seems to be toiling a bit. This will be a major problem for Rangers if he has to go off. There was always a possibility after injury that he would struggle. Well, Gough is signalling at the moment that he wants to continue. It's through now, looking for the Canio, but the goalkeeper read the situation. He was off his line quickly. I think so. Until the end of the season, Charlie.
Yeah, and a good move, a clever move. This guy 10 years ago, Jerry, down in England when I was there, was said to, you know, he was going to be a big prospect for international recognition. He's only got, I think, 3 caps you mentioned earlier. Never quite worked away that he probably planned it would, but he's a very talented goalkeeper. And the fact today, I say, is the change of, you know, him, he can prepare to come off his line more than Andy Gorham does. Has helped Rangers back three. But you would have to look at Celtic at the moment, looking for inspiration. It's mainly through Di Canio. They need a lot more out of Cadete.
Good touch there by Di Canio, but Albertz read it with Jackie McNamara coming through. So Rangers will make that change now. Charlie Miller waits. Richard Gough doesn't want to leave the field in this, his last Old Firm game. Well, he signals he wants another 5 minutes. Remember that happened in a cup final with Manchester United with Steve Bruce, and United lost a goal in a cup final because of it when the player dictated to the manager.
I think the difference, Jerry, being today for Richard Gough is that his presence alone has meant so much to that back three. Dibble's been secure for him, and here we even see Celtic with Simon Donnelly preparing to coming on, and Alan Stubbs, which is a bit of a surprise. Maybe a sacrifice tactic.
So the man who cost Celtic £3.5 million leaves the field. On comes Simon Donnelly. Walter Smith was in deep conversation there with Craig Moore, and Richard Gough is now leaving the field. He knows he can't continue. So a disappointing finish to the match for him, his last Old Firm game. So Charlie Miller and Simon Donnelly, two of the younger players, took the stage, while Alan McLaren is sitting in there. Craig Moore is sitting in deep with him, and Björklund.
Well, I think if there was a time that you could say a captain can play his part, Gough has done it again today.
So just over 63 minutes of the match gone. The Rangers continue to lead Celtic by a goal to nil, and the offside flag goes up. Charlie Miller was breaking through the middle. Laudrup down the left-hand side. The flag went up immediately.
I've just thrown McLaren out to the spare man and put Craig Moore back. We obviously Charlie Miller filling in the midfield role. Maybe more of a holding role for Ian Durrant now.
Well, as Gough was preparing to come off, Walter Smith was, as I said, in deep conversation with Craig Moore. That was the clear instruction in there in the central roles with McLaren and Björklund. That falls beyond Phil O'Donnell, and Cleland lacks quickly. Peter Grant took a tumble there. Celtic perhaps senses something on here now that Gough has left the field, but again Rangers stand firm. Certainly Peter Grant took a tumble there, but the referee was well positioned and wasn't interested. He's handled it firmly and fairly. He's booked 5 players so far, 2 from Celtic, 3 from Rangers. And it breaks away now to Laudrup. Well, Ferguson. It's Albertz. Gets away with it. And gets the return. That's out of play. So an interesting spell in the match. Rangers have lost the skipper and have had to rearrange at the back. Celtic are making another change. David Hanna, recently signed from Dundee United, is coming on. It's Tosh McKinlay trying to drop it in there for Cadete. This is Cleland. Mackay claims he was held there by Hateley. It's worked out to Rangers' advantage. Down goes Laudrup. Mackay has been called over, and there's all kinds of trouble breaking out here now. A real flashpoint in the game. Stuart Kerr getting involved. And the red card is shown to Hateley. Well, this is incredible. Mark Hateley, who was ordered off at this very ground in the Scottish Cup tie some 6 years ago, is off the field, brought back for this game, and he's been red carded. Mackay, I think, is in trouble with the referee as well. Mackay is being called over as Hateley leaves the field. Well, Hugh Dallas has shown that he will shirk nothing. This looks like trouble as well for the Celtic player. It's a yellow card for him. Now the goalkeeper is being called over because he got needlessly involved in things.
They just don't get involved in it. Hateley's involved with McNamara, and then Stuart just seem to go for Hateley, and it ends up complete madness.
And of course, Rangers have a free kick just outside the area to take after all of this has settled down. And Rangers might just finish the match here. Albertz, we had several opportunities in the first half. Durrant there, it's Albertz who starts a run, it's Laudrup who clips it forward. But it was no real problem in the end for Stuart Kerr. Well, what an incredible afternoon this has turned out to be.
Well, it was nothing but drama, we thought, before the game. It was never always going to be a classic in football terms, but everything could have happened today. Now it's starting to happen. Celtic now ready to put on David Hanna. Peter Grant will come off. Maybe a bit of a risk for Celtic, prepared to go for it now. But they've no other choice. They must try and get back in this game.
Well, now, could be very, very interesting. Walter Smith becoming more animated. Tommy Burns has to stay up there in the stand. But Rangers still in the driving seat with almost 69 minutes gone.
Well, I think we'll expect to see Laudrup on his own now. He's not always been the blessed with working hard. He likes to more or less go on the ball. I think they're going to ask a lot more of him now. We're looking at 21 minutes to go in this game. Laudrup's got to be prepared to sacrifice a lot of work today now to get Rangers this result.
So Rangers down to 10 men. Tommy Burns looks on. McNamara. Another good one picked up by Charlie Miller. Now it's Durrant. Laudrup. Cleland started a good run. It's away by Mackay. Touch on by Canio. The pace of Cadete could pay off here. Good sliding challenge went in. It was Björklund who made it. A good challenge by Björklund at a vital moment. Lovely touch through from Canio to Cadete. He was getting away from McLaren, but watch Björklund just coming across here. Brilliant challenge. It's Canio again. Trying so hard to inspire Celtic. It's McLaren this time who slides in and gets it away. Just under 20 minutes left. Celtic 0, Rangers 1. Shot going in there from the substitute, from David Hanna. But not troubling Andy Dibble in any way. Yeah, we're getting a hard time from the Rangers fans just behind him. This is Hanna. McNamara. Annoni. So do Celtic fight their way back into this match, or do they get caught with a classic break? With Laudrup up ahead, that's always a possibility. That one goes beyond them. Celtic have the extra man. It's up to them to make it count. Meanwhile, Ali McCoist is warming up just below us. The man who scored no fewer than 26 goals against Celtic in his career. So a few twists and turns still to come on this remarkable afternoon, as these two clubs fight it out, one to protect a record, the other to equal one. That's behind for the goal kick.
The Rangers now are prepared to say to Celtic, you're going to have the ball, we'll sacrifice everything, we've not got much up front. But the extra man doesn't count, Jerry, if they don't leave gaps. And if you've got a back five like Rangers are winning to now, and you shut off the wide areas, there is very few gaps. And only maybe something, either through luck or through absolute skill. And in that purpose, you would look at Canio, can maybe create something for Celtic here.
Meanwhile, Laudrup will be looking for some service from Miller, Ferguson and Durrant, if they can just squeeze a quality ball through to him. And there's one dropping in now, and it's left to the goalkeeper. Well, you see the threat of Laudrup. A long ball played through, and Annoni decided to leave it. This is Hannah. McNamara. The assistant referee is lifting his flag. Put it down again. This could be another controversial moment. It's Björklund, of all people, breaking forward. Here's Albertz. And what a chance for Rangers to finish it off, but really, that was another incredible situation there. The far side assistant referee lifted his flag for a throw and put it down again. Rangers broke up field, and Björklund, who seldom crosses a halfway line, set it up for George Albertz. It couldn't be more dramatic.
I think what he couldn't believe was the fact that the whole thing opened up in front of him. Annoni wasn't prepared to come to him, he just tried to hang inside with Albertz. And the whole thing opened up for Björklund, and I think, you know, we don't normally see him cross the halfway line, as you said, Jerry. He just got a bit confused and was really looking to get rid of it.
It's to Canio. There's Björklund. An easy one for Dibble. Well, defeat for Celtic today will mean 2 successive seasons without a league win over Rangers, not to mention blowing their title hopes. They trail by a goal to nil. The time is running away. Björklund challenges, breaks to Albertz, and the offside flag has gone up against Laudrup. It's Tosh McKinlay for Celtic. O'Donnell. McStay. Another slackman by the Celtic skipper. It's a second bite. It's Hannah. And the passing, not the best. McNamara having to backtrack, and he promptly sends it out of play.
Well, that is a worrying sight for Celtic, not just the fact to give it away so cheaply. It's that Rangers mentally are on top of them now, and they're saying, yous have got to force the play. And that's what happens, you end up making basic errors.
Remember a famous occasion here when Celtic were reduced to 10 men and won the championship against Rangers. It looks today as though Rangers with 10 men will clinch the championship here at Celtic Park. If inspiration is to come, it must come quickly. There's Tosh McKinlay, might get a bit more room now. He's certainly got the free kick. But before Rangers lost Hateley, and certainly before they lost Gough, they were getting good double cover on the likes of Tosh McKinlay, forcing him wide. So Canio is over the ball. to the far side. It's well defended by Alan McLaren. Simon Donnelly sends it back in. It comes off Albertz. It's McStay. Another wide shot by Paul McStay, who's just the 1 goal to his credit. He missed a fair part of the season, but I'm afraid when it comes to shots for goal, he's often found wanting, and this one was wide off target.
This wasn't an easy one for him. It's an awkward angle taking his right foot. He tries to, it's a snapshot more than anything. He was just trying to inspire his team, and at the moment it's just not really happening for him.
Away by Cleland. Here's Ferguson. Drops behind McStay for Durrant. Laudrup starts a run. Mackay did just enough there. Laudrup had done well to stay on side. Here's McKinlay now for Celtic. Simon Donnelly's forward, so too is Cadete. The offside flag goes up. Well, Celtic were certainly getting players forward, and just offside.
Yeah, you see McLaren in the middle taking responsibility now, getting his hand up in the air and just catching Cadete offside. Still, they need a little bit more from Cadete. He's not really had a big say in this game so far. His runs are always dangerous, and give him half a chance, he'll probably stick it away. But he's got to be prepared to get himself into at least scoring chances so that the service might just come his way.
It's played through by Annoni. Slack one not. Away by Moore. Here's Durrant. Again, Laudrup starts a run. Durrant spots it. Flips the ball through. Well, Durrant certainly hits these perfectly weighted passes. And this is what Celtic are going to have to watch very carefully. Ferguson trying to find a way through. O'Donnell knocks it just a bit too far in front, and Durrant pounces. Well, he had Charlie Miller running to his left in a bit of space, but like earlier in the match, he elected to hit the early ball. But Charlie Miller was there on his left-hand side.
It's a difficult one though. Charlie Miller's just out his vision there, and he just decides, we're a man down anyway, a man less, it's worth a shot. It wasn't a bad strike. Probably was disappointed he didn't hit the target.
The header from Albertz. Falls for McStay. There's Mackay. McKinlay. Cadete. Got by Ferguson. The referee allows advantage to Paul McStay. Ferguson gives chase. It's McLaren who gets it away. It's David Hannah. O'Donnell through for Donnelly. The early ball from him. It's left by Cadete, but there's no one there. The Canio was on the far side of him. As McKinlay gets in well there. It's away by Craig Moore. Now it's Durrant. Charlie Miller starts a run. Good pass from Durrant. Good touch from Miller. Now it's Laudrup. Albertz has started the run in support as well. And Laudrup is clearly pulled there. Well, Mackay has already been booked, and he's off. A second yellow card and a red card. And Celtic now reduced to 10 men. They can have no complaints. He clearly pulled Laudrup, who's showing lovely skills. Yellow card followed by red. Ten minutes left. Celtic 0, Rangers 1. And another opportunity for Rangers to finish it all off. Well, no doubt about it. Mackay had to go. Well, Albertz has hit 4 or 5 of these so far. This time, just wide.
Well, he's not a man who likes to bend him, Jerry, is he? You know he's going to come. So Kerr's he's got a chance because it's got to be absolutely perfect. But the power again in this is frightening.
And not far away. Just about shaved the outside of the post. Now it's Tosh McKinlay for Celtic. Aim towards the Canio. Drops in behind Albertz. Line for the goal kick.
Great pass from McKinlay. Beautifully weighted. Paolo Di Canio's first touch is superb. Great technique. But just out of view there, Cadete pulled to the back post for a little chip. You just maybe see it better, there's a better angle for it. Lovely first touch. Here you see he's made a couple of yards. That's where he wants the service.
Well, the sun is shining now at Celtic Park, and it's certainly shining on Rangers. Here's Albertz, and once again he's denied. Stuart Kerr gives Celtic a lifeline. But the Celtic fans now, and some of them are starting to head for the exits. But that really could have put it beyond any reasonable doubt. Laid off by Durrant. Laudrup tries to get through. He's got the free kick. Celtic are becoming more and more frustrated. They know this match and this championship is running away from them. Jackie McNamara bundling the Dane. Another free kick to Rangers. Durrant fires it right across. Cleland there in picture and shot has been full of running this afternoon, and he's never stopped.
Yeah, I think it's most of them, Durrant also, but Cleland's still looking pretty fresh. But I would have to say, I think Björklund today, for me, and since he's came to Rangers, has probably played his best game I've seen so far.
There he is now, just allowing that ball to go out of play. Björklund was recommended to Rangers about 2.5 years ago, but he decided he wanted a spell in Italy. Played with IFK Gothenburg, went to Vicenza, and then moved on to Rangers. Walter Smith knows he's now just about 6 or 7 minutes away from the championship. More Celtic fans leave the stadium as Ali Mackay warms up. This is Canio. Again, he's very quickly closed down. And Björklund's with him, right into the corner flag. Well, good skills though by Canio. We've seen some lovely close control from him and from Laudrup this afternoon. That's a good ball through, looking for Jackie McNamara. Real chance there. Rangers get it away. The break's on now. Laudrup's away in a run. But it's Cadete who does some good defending. Just over 5 minutes left. Some fresh urgency from Celtic. Simon Donnelly switched over to this near side. He was well challenged by Cleland. A bit of pushing indicates the referee, so Celtic have the free kick. Celtic pushing just about everyone forward here. Rangers naturally pulling everyone back, even Laudrup's inside his own penalty area. Canio fires it over. Well, another chance goes a-begging. Annoni, it was the goalkeeper, looked all at sea. It looked as though Enrico Annoni only had to pick his spot. Jackie McNamara, I think it was, got it back across goal.
It's a bad miss. Simon Donnelly does ever so well. He can't score from the header, so he decides I'll knock it back across. Give somebody a half chance. Annoni's got a clear header on it. He just needs to hit the target, and surely it's a goal.
So Rangers making a change. Ian Durrant, who's had a terrific game, is leaving the field, and Ali Mackay will replace him. So on comes the great Ibrox goal scorer. 26 goals he scored against Celtic, going way back to 1983. What a scourge he's been. Well, the Bell's man of the match, voted by the viewers, is Paulo Di Canio, who takes a tumble. And it's Cleland pushing Rangers forward. Now it's Laudrup, challenged by Annoni. And he'll be yellow carded here. Well, now Ian Ferguson is getting involved with Di Canio. And Di Canio has been drawn onto a hook here. He better be very careful. But Annoni will certainly be yellow carded. Di Canio is losing the place down there. So Annoni is booked. 5 Celtic players have been yellow carded. Mackay has been sent off. And 3 Rangers players, plus Hateley off. It's been a busy afternoon for Hugh Dallas. He's now indicating he'll add time on. 87.5 minutes gone. Rangers leading by that first half goal, which had been claimed by Ian Durrant. Tommy Burns can only look on helplessly and hope things improve for him another day. No doubt from the early stages that Rangers have looked more up for this match than Celtic. Celtic have had their moments, certainly. Nice little ball through from Cadete. The offside flag goes up against the Canio.
I don't think he's got that one right.
He was in line there. Line means onside under the more recent ruling. Billy Stark looks on. Packy Bonner, the veteran of so many of these games. But it looks very much like a Rangers afternoon. The final seconds ticking away. Played through by Annoni. It's carefully watched by McLaren. The stumble there by Albertz. The referee awards a goal kick. Jackie McNamara was breaking through and he fell forward, stumbled forward. And Hugh Dallas, like he's done with just about everything this afternoon, has called it absolutely right.
You can always tell with a player's reaction that it happens to. And although Di Canio and Cadete went to the linesman and referee, Jackie McNamara knew in his heart of hearts that he'd stumbled.
Well, Celtic have won just 3 of the last 16 Old Firm meetings, if things stand as they are. It's a poor record against their great rivals. Into the final 10 seconds now, plus any time to be added on by the referee. Gives chase. There's enough to put pressure on the goalkeeper. The referee checks his watch. It's a difficult ball there by Annoni to McStay. Put him under pressure. Little touch on by Cadete, but there's no one on the end of it. It's away by McLaren, through for Ferguson. O'Donnell did just enough there. Now it's Annoni. We're now into the stoppage time in this match, with Rangers leading by 1-0. They're seconds away from 9 in a row. Kamara's well challenged. Rangers getting ready to break again. Annoni's in there though, so too is Craig Moore. He was caught late. The referee though allows play to go on. And O'Donnell goes in hard. There's 2 Rangers players on the deck. Billy McCoist was caught there by Phil O'Donnell. Here's Tosh McKinlay. And it's behind for the corner. But Ali McCoy was down. He's back on his feet. Craig Moore was also caught. But there were some hefty challenges going in there. But, certainly the referee decided not to give a free kick when Moore went down. He was certainly caught late by McNamara. I felt at the time that should have been a free kick, but the referee allowed play to go on. Ali McCoy then took a dull thud from Phil O'Donnell, and now Celtic have the corner, the last chance of the match, surely. Albertz just blasts it away. Almost 2 minutes of stoppage time played. Charlie Miller forces the back pass. Well, Stuart Kerr's in all kinds of trouble here. Ferguson heads it forward. And the flag has gone up. Well, again, the referee has checked his watch. He's looked out towards his two assistants. Only seconds left. Another check by Hugh Dallas. Celtic push forward, looking for the equaliser. Tosh McKinlay sends it in. Cadete there, but that was good defending by Alan McLaren. Just got the touch on it. Celtic have the corner. So again, Celtic push everyone forward. They don't have the height though to worry the Rangers defence. The final whistle sounds, and that wraps it up for Rangers. The fans celebrate, and there's no doubt about it. Over the afternoon, they were the better side, but there are ugly scenes down in the field now. Canio's getting involved. Ferguson was involved. Those two were going at one another in the latter stages of the game. Still Canio is going on, and he will certainly be red carded even after the whistle sounded. This is crazy. But there is all kinds of trouble breaking out now, and various players are being held back. Some fans have come onto the field, but stewards are moving in quickly. So it ends in not the best of ways, and the referee is telling the players to leave the field as quickly as possible. The fourth official is getting involved there. Willie Young is trying to get the Rangers players off the field, but they are going into a Celtic-style huddle, and they're celebrating the fact they have surely won the championship at Parkhead. But some ugly scenes to finish this match, a match in which two players were ordered off, and a number also booked. 5 Celtic players booked, 3 Rangers. Hateley ordered off for Rangers, and Mackay for Celtic, and some ugly scenes at the end involving Canio and Ferguson. But the Rangers fans celebrate, and certainly, Charlie, Rangers deserve their day.
Yes, I think it's as positively as Rangers have came to Celtic Park in a long time, and they came here on a purpose. And I think when he's seen Walter's attitude before the game, he said he'd only be happy with a win. He's got it. His players have raised it big time for him, and I think it's now cruising for Rangers, and they will get a major lift from this. And Celtic again have slipped up when they had a tremendous opportunity, and Rangers deserve to win today.
Well, I doubt there'll be a presentation to the man of the match after those scenes. The final score here at Parkhead: Celtic 0, Rangers 1.
Yeah, so Celtic 0, Rangers 1.